There everyone, I just wanted to come out here and make a quick video to show you some of the things that I'm going to be harvesting out of my garden and the state that my garden is in. Okay, it's a mess, but I have plans on getting it all back in tip-top shape so I can plant some stuff for the fall. Just right now, it's just still too hot. We're still near triple digits every day. So I kind of wanted to give it an opportunity to cool down just a little bit so that I can plant stuff and that it'll do all right. But I wanted to show you here that I had yanked out some of the corn. If you remember, I had corn in here that was dead. I yanked out the dead corn and I planted some more corn in here. And so there's corn stalks coming up. I don't know if you guys can see that clearly, but there's corn stalks coming up, so that's good. So anyways, I'm gonna plant some other stuff really soon. I just wanted to come out and show you what was new real quick. I'm making breakfast and there's a lot of things that I wanted to harvest to use for breakfast, mainly these tomatoes. Not these ones in particular. These ones are the Lucid Gem tomato. I didn't want to harvest those just yet. I'm gonna let them stay on a little bit longer, but I just wanted to show you what is going on and what they look like. So anyways, let me come around here so I can show you some more stuff. I'm battling with my spaghetti squash. I have two that are growing right here, but I'm battling this powdery mildew. And you know, they say that the powdery mildew is from watering overhead from above, and all my water is underneath. It's drip system, it's drip line, so I don't see how there's some validity to that. Plus, I think, okay, well, it rains and rain falls from the sky over everything that doesn't come up through the ground. So I don't know, I'm not sold that it's because it's being watered overhead that causes the powdery mildew. You see the bee flying around pollinating my leaves, I mean my flowers here. But yeah, so now these tomatoes over here I am gonna harvest today. And this one right here seems to be some kind of heirloom tomato, so we'll see what that turns out to be, because right now I can't really tell still. And this one as well, but they're not as healthy because they're in this little container that's overgrown with all this grass and weeds and stuff. So eventually what I'm gonna do is chop and drop. Just chop all this stuff out from around it, drop it back in, cover it over with some compost and some chicken poop, and by the time these tomatoes die off for the winter, then I'm gonna pile it high with some soil and mound it up, and that's where I'm gonna plant some watermelon next time. My watermelon didn't do all that great this year, and the ones that did started growing and growing well, my tortoise got to them, kind of messed them up. So this right here is supposed to be a green sausage tomato plant, but it's actually just a sausage tomato plant. If it was green sausage, then these tomatoes inside here would be green with hints of red striping or coloring going through it. But since these are all solid red, I believe they're just strictly sausage tomatoes. And I'll be harvesting these off too so that I can use for breakfast. I'm just going to slice them up. The other day, I took the different tomatoes that I had and chunked them up and made a salad out of them. And with a little cheese mixed in. I didn't take any pictures because when I tasted it, it was so good. I ate that real quick. So no pictures this time of it, but you're just going to have to take my word. It was good. And those tomatoes were sweet. And so I have a melon cantaloupe growing in here, down in this tangled mess of grass and weeds. And this is that watermelon I said that the tortoise got to. Right when it started developing, she ate the leaves off the growing tip of this watermelon, and then she was trying to get inside that watermelon, I guess, because it was all messed up, as you can see. It healed over, but the damage was done. Got a tomato growing. I got a whole bunch of tomatoes in this bed right here that I didn't plant. They just popped up. But anyways, this tomato plant actually put out a ripe tomato. If you remember these tomatoes, it was like a whole bunch of them. You can see down there where the stems are. A whole bunch of them growing together in a group, a cluster. It was a tomato cluster. So, anyways, moving along. I gotta clear this bed out. Take out the rest of these beans that I had harvested, most of them, as they were drying, and put them in a nice area where they can continue to dry. But I still have a lot more to pick. And over here, I'm just gonna take out all of these squash plants. They're not really producing. They're sickly looking. This one actually is rebounding, but it's a little too late. I think I need to start over again with them and grow them in a different space. This was my first time growing them on this side, and I had corn in this bed last year, and these squash didn't do very well here. I had the squash on this side last year in this bed, and they did great in this bed. So I'm guessing the lighting and stuff here is better. The shade that it gets, the sunlight that it gets is better for it. So, and this was my Kellogg breakfast tomato. I have one little tomato on this side, but pretty much I think this one is spent. I got a couple of good tomatoes off of it and a couple that went to the birds. So, and my cucumber, I'm gonna probably pull all this out and start over because this cucumber isn't producing anything right now. And it could be because it's not so healthy. You can see that it's like yellowing. Everything in this bed is like yellowing. I don't understand that. Before I planted all this stuff in here, I put homemade compost and chicken poop and everything. So I don't understand why it's still looking that way. These are my cucamelons. I have yet to see any fruit grow on these, so I don't know. I'm anxious. I want to try these. I heard they taste really good. I don't know if it's gonna happen. So, and then coming back over here. Okay, so this one is a black brandy wine, I think. I pulled this one out of the kiddie pool to save it and to thin out the ones that were in there because I had a lot of tomatoes growing in there. And Yeah, this one, so I don't know exactly what it is. I know it's an heirloom. It's one of the brandy wines. I just don't know which one. Um, but I won't know until it produces something. And there's a lot of flowers on here. Hopefully it'll produce something. But what I wanted to show you was the winds here are so bad. At any given time, they're just really, really bad. And so this tomato plant, the wind broke it in half. It looks like this limb is still surviving, even though it's broken in half like that. So I might have to put another stake in here and tie it up just to give it some support since it didn't die. And it's been like this for maybe a week. So if it hadn't died yet, then it's not going to die. So just to give it a fighting chance, I'll probably do that. Just stake it up and allow it to grow. And then this is one of the tomatoes I'm going to harvest today. This is the pink brandywine, and it looks like it's ready. So I'm gonna take that one inside and just have that with our breakfast. I'm making us some steak and eggs this morning because my son is out visiting. He's in the Navy and he's stationed about 2.5 hours away, and so he traveled by train to come here and visit for the holiday. And so we're going to be making some good food for him. The last time he was here, I made macaroni and cheese. It's his favorite dish. And I made mac and cheese for him 2 ways. One was a smokehouse barbecue mac and cheese with pulled pork mixed in it. Oh, that was so good. And then the other one I made was a seafood mac and cheese with shrimp and scallops. And that one was fantastic too. So, and then I put some in a container for him, a couple of containers, so that he can freeze them and eat them at leisure when he went back to his ship. So, yeah. So these are the melons and cantaloupes that volunteered out of these containers that I planted these tomatoes in. I noticed that they were growing, and I just let them grow. And I'm glad I did, because as you can see right here, there's a little watermelon growing right there. And then right underneath it over here is a cantaloupe growing. And it's doing well. The plant itself is prospering pretty well. So maybe I'll actually get a watermelon out of it that the tortoise don't destroy. I'm going to try and keep her away from it. And on this side, these are Roma tomatoes, I think. Roma or San Marzano. I'm thinking they're Romas, though. But this is fully loaded. So I won't be harvesting off of this one just yet. But let me go around here. My Honeycrisp apple. My variety of apples here. But this volunteer is grown out all over here. And this one I think might be cucumber. I'm thinking cucumber. As you can see though, my tortoise ate some of the leaves off before I picked this one up and moved it to a safe place. But here's some of the fruit that's hanging off of it. I don't know if that's cucumber or not. It might not be. It might be melon. It might be more cantaloupe. I don't know. I hope it is. I love cantaloupe a lot. So I hope it is. And then over here, this one, this container, I have the answer to my question of what these of what these extra flowers are right here. It's not flowered yet, but I'm 100% sure this is hollyhock. And that's how they start out. And I'm not sure I want to keep that in this container along with my nasturtiums, which started dying off because of the heat, but they're making a recovery because this hollyhock is shading them. But my poppies are dying out. Hopefully they'll come back again on their own. But that hollyhock is going to turn into like these next year if I don't move it or do something with it. And I don't know what I'm going to do as of yet. But there's one more area of some tomatoes that I want to harvest. Over here, this cherry tomato already died off. And I don't know why. It was getting enough water and everything, but yeah, it just died. So, and that was fine because I have plenty more. As you can see, this is all overgrown. Since my son is out here visiting, I'm going to get both my boys out here and my husband. He already said he's going to help me. And we're going to get all this grass pulled. And I'm just going to chop and drop it pretty much. Maybe not these tops because these tops have like seeds or something in them. But yeah, I'm going to take the majority of this off, and some of it's going to go to the compost. Some of it's going to go to a new composting system that I'm experimenting with, that I'm going to make a video about how I set it up and everything, and then I'm going to wait and see how it does. If it does really well, then I'll actually publish the video so that you guys can see it. But all my peach trees and stuff. This is a cherry tomato. It just grew all crazy. So I have this one, which is cherry. And then when you go down further here, I got this one, which is sprawled all over the place. It's cherry. And I got a couple more that are cherry. So I'm not missing out on anything or losing out with that one plant dying. And as you can see with this one, it has a lot of fruit on it already, but there's a lot that's ripe and ready to go. So I'm going to harvest those and use those. And I might end up pulling this onion right here and use that for breakfast too. Last night I made a friend of mine from church. I like these lavenders. I'll let you look at these while I finish my thoughts. So a friend of mine from church, I kind of told her that my favorite meat is elk, and she proceeded to tell me that she had some in her freezer from when her husband went hunting last season. And so she's all, I'll gladly give it to you. And I was like, oh yes, because elk tastes really good. If you haven't had elk, it's like amped up beef. It has so much more flavor in it than beef. If you like a good steak, then elk is like beef on steroids and with flavor. It's crazy, but it's good. So I took it, and last night I made a elk stew out of it. And I used carrots out of my garden here, and I used some fresh onions that I grew in my garden here. And I had to buy potatoes because although I do have some potatoes, I didn't think I had enough to actually accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. But that stew turned out so good. So, but this lavender, I plan on getting some oil, and for the first time, like trying to make lavender oil or something with it. I don't know yet. I'm leaning toward doing lavender oil. But I have to continue doing some research on how to do it the right way and everything, so that I've never done anything like that before, but since it's growing wild right here, I figure I figured I might as well use it when I chop it down. So, and my guess is it's going to come back again next year because we chopped it down once before when we first moved here. Oh, there's a bee over there. Bees love this stuff too. But we chopped it down, and this is what happened afterwards. And it was one little bush, and now it just exploded everywhere. So I'm guessing it'll be back again next year. I haven't looked at my peppers in a while, and they're growing over here. They're mostly getting beat up by our winds, but they're growing. There's no flowers on them yet or anything, so I don't know if they're actually going to do anything for me. And then this tomato was doing great, and now it's just looking kind of sickly. I don't know. I'm going to have to try and do something about this one. This one is Hungarian heart tomato. So it's supposed to pump out some really decent sized tomatoes, and I'd like to try it. I've heard that they taste really good too, so I'd like to try it, but we'll see. So anyways, that's what I have for you right now. I don't know if I'm gonna add to this video or not, but I do know I need to go in here and make this breakfast for these men in my life so that they can be satisfied. So okay, so it is the next day. So yesterday we came out here, and after I made that video, took some time and just started to clean out my garden. And as you can see, a lot of things are different. Like for instance, right here where my tall sunflowers were, those got pulled out. No more sunflowers. These ones are just barely hanging in there, so I'm gonna give them a little more time, but no more sunflowers. And over here the same thing, the sunflowers that was on this side, and then the other tall one that was on this side, all taken out, done. These marigolds I left. These marigolds, I didn't even plant these planted themselves. They're volunteers, but I'm still working on getting the grass out of here. But you can see my watermelon right here. And here is a cantaloupe. So I'm just going to continue to clear more of this out so that I can plant some other stuff once it starts to cool down, at least to the 90s. We had a heat warning this weekend, and we've been triple digits all weekend. I think today was supposed to hit 103. I think yesterday was 104. But as you can see, all the squash and stuff that I had in this bed, gone. I mean, they didn't even produce really. I got two, maybe three squash off of 6 plants. And so a lot of the grass and stuff has just been pulled up and just turned over right here. I still have to pull out these cucumber. I did find one cucumber on this plant. So I don't know. I keep thinking, well, maybe I should just wait a little longer. I don't know. We'll see. But as you can see, this is the biggest change right here. This is the biggest difference. Oh, there's a lizard up here. So all of these grasses that was up here, are down here. The tomato plant, my cherry tomato plant that I was getting a lot of tomatoes off of, I had that one pulled out too. You can see I still have some beets over in here, and we're gonna see what happens with them, see if they rebound. My husband accidentally pulled out the potato plant that I had in here. Here's another potato plant right here. This one is a purple potato that it volunteered itself. I must have missed some potatoes when I pulled them out. And so anyways, I'm not so sad over that cherry tomato because I have a whole bunch of other volunteer cherry tomato plants. This is my beans, and there's a lot of beans down in there too. I'm not pulling any off. I'm just gonna let them grow and dry out because I want dry beans from that. Oh, I didn't even notice this got all messed around. I don't think that's even connected. I'm gonna have to try and reconnect that so that everything will get watered. There's another pile of grass. That all of this grass came from this part of the bed. All of that grass that's over there. Plus, I gave a lot of it to the chickens. Plus, I put a lot of it down, shoved it down into this bucket for a project that I'm working on. Yeah, but all this came from this bed right here. As you can see, it looks pitiful now. I have to go through and get everything refertilized. I cleaned out the chicken coop so I could have the poop ready for when I go to replant everything. So yeah, but that's what's new. I got some differences right now, some progress being made, and I'm happier for it. It feels good because then it's manageable for me. I can just come out and do this stuff on my own and not need help. But with all that tall grass and stuff, I needed help. It was a lot, and there's still some left, but we gonna get pulled through it. And I'm gonna use those tall grasses for mulch or for composting, for I think I have enough of it for everything that I want to do with it. So anyways, I just wanted to show you the progress is being made, trying to prepare for the fall garden and trying to see how I can better serve my garden here, which then leads to better health options for my family. So we'll see. But I guess that's all I have for you. I just wanted to show you you saw the before. I just wanted to show you what the after looks like, and it's gonna look even better the next time I video. You'll see it'll look even better because I'll have stuff planted and all the rest of this grass and stuff removed. So thank you again for watching my videos, and thank you for subscribing, and as always, God bless.